The amount of money that is going towards unfunded promises each year is $8 trillion, so the $14 trillion in debt is there, but we've got to reform entitlement programs, and that's always been a toxic hot potato that no one wants to talk about if you're a politician, because they can't see beyond the next election. And the thing is that the entitlement programs have not been adjusted. We have 10,000 new Medicare folks entering that age group every day. So we're getting 10,000 new people into that system daily. We're living 10 years longer, which is a good thing. We all like that. But nobody bothered to adjust the amount of money coming in to account for the baby boomers that are coming through now. So we've got to have cuts, and we've got to have them now, but no one who's on Social Security now or is approaching Social Security wants to see those cut. Maybe some people do, but the majority of Americans don't. And I think the majority of people don't like sudden change, even though that's exactly what we need. And Senator Corker has got a bill introduced to keep the gross domestic product and spending at about 20% in a balance, and so does Paul Ryan. So, moving forward, there is a plan in place, not fast enough for some, but the best thing I've seen to date.
Washington has a spending problem. I hear a lot of folks on the other side talk about revenue, revenue, revenue. Revenue basically has stayed stable at about 18%, and projections are that they're going to stay there. Spending's been around 20%. It's not good, it's a deficit, but if we're not careful, we're going to be close to 100% of GDP if we continue to spend the way that we spend. We've got to curtail that. Right now, when we talk about spending money, 43 cents of every dollar, 43 cents is borrowed when you spend it. So that's a major, major problem. And Scott and I and our conference are committed to getting that message out to the American people. We have got to come together as a nation, Republicans, Democrats, and Independents, and deal with the debt crisis, because if we don't, it will destroy this country.
We need to get education back to the states and the counties and local communities, and we're going to be working towards doing that, because we can show where the Department of Education simply hasn't gotten it done. And we need to listen more to our educators. Being a doctor, when they did the health care reform issue, we had, I think, 9 physicians in Congress at the time. None of them were included in writing of that bill. And I said on the campaign trail, rewriting the education legislation is kind of like in healthcare, where they wrote comprehensive health care reform without consulting doctors. Reforming education and not consulting teachers would be about the same practice, and we don't need to do that. We need to listen to our educators, and that's why we're doing this field hearing in Columbia, so you can be heard. But I think that you'll like what's happening in education, and I think people are listening to those concerns, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. We want our teachers to be able to teach and do what they were trained to do. We want discipline back in the school. We want physical education back in the school, and a lot of things that were there that have been taken away.